Welcoming you back to Crypto's juiciest news, friends. Crypto continues to recover after the Iran and Israel airstrikes seemingly dissipate. Stock market is booming. What's going on with Nvidia? Is AI really continuing to take over the world? Did ChainLink, which is the Ethereum MicroStrategy, did they buy more Bitcoin? And what did Donald Trump say about major loser Jerome Powell? Are there more interest rate cuts coming? All of that and more. Bitcoin at 107,000 American dollars. We are looking at a green monthly candle. That's how we always start off the show, because the monthly candle really tells you what's going on out there in the sentiment. It's green, so everybody's feeling good. On average, if you go speak to people, yes, a lot of altcoins down in the dumps, but it's the business cycle. It's not going to be like this forever. But I said that 4 years ago, and it has been forever. So we'll see. This is Bitcoin, right? Climbing up. The Fibonacci extension will take it to $120,000 or so. This is the Ethereum monthly chart. Here, hopefully it makes its way up throughout the rest of the year before it continues to slide off, which it so often has done in the past. Let's look at the Bitcoin daily chart. Very interesting. We're pushing up near 108K. So this is a zoom up of it. Bitcoin did complete what we call the C leg. Okay, normally it goes up, does these skits, bang, bang, right in and smack. Okay, and we're done. And then we're actually right here. I mean, like, this is just a bull market, friends. In a bull market, good news comes out of nowhere. In a bull market, strength appears out of nowhere. That's what happens. And in a bear market, right, just bad stuff just starts happening, you know, and it just like everything starts to get better a bit, and then just like another random stuff. So you conquer one bad news and something else comes around the corner that you're like, oh, like you throw your hands up. But in a bull market, it's the opposite, right? Where good news comes out of nowhere. Good news. But remember, the good news is priced into the candles, the price action. That moves first. People act on it first. This is the ChainLink price chart, just to show you how poopy it is out there. I even saw Ivan on Tech talking about ChainLink. They're wondering, hey, why are these things down? Why are these things down? Everything is bad. Well, that's a business cycle, man. Told you thousands of times. It's literally the business cycle. It's not an individual coin, you know. But then what might happen? What happens is, you got to remember. So certain people like Ivan, he likes trading off momentum. So he's using his indicators. Indicators is basically like a super trend. He's waiting for something to flip green. He wants to be participating in it, which sounds good. But then you see how far it takes for something to flip, all right? And then once it does flip green, everything flips green eventually. What distance does it go? Because you don't know how far the distance is going to go. Okay, it could go 2x, it could go 30x. Case in point, man, you can have a look at the pDAI price chart. Look at this, friends. If on pDAI, right, we could put a super trend on it now, just to give you an idea. Go in, you can type in a super trend. Okay, we have a super trend here. And you can put this on like a weekly chart, you know, and you can have a look at like there are coins out there, friends, when they flip green on their weekly super trend, yeah, they're only doing like a 2x. That's huge for them, 100% move. Look what pDAI did when it flipped green on the weekly super trend. Mate, after it flipped green, it did a whopping 460%. That's about 5.6x. You see that? And then look at the next time it flipped green. Whoa, check out that move. After flip green on the weekly, did another 580%. That's another 6.8x. That's wild, man. So if we flip green here, the price is going to be about less than a cent. It's about 0.8 cents. I mean, that'll be funny, right? Imagine it does another 580% move. That would take it to 6 cents, right? But this is interesting, yeah. So if you're a believer, see that's 6 cents. You're like, oh, wow, you get a 6x. But you waited for it to get back to a cent. So I just want to show you, if you were a believer, like a true believer, if you bought pDAI on the gravestone emoji, okay, what do you get at 6 cents? You get a whopping 220x return. Compare that. So people who wait for confirmation, okay, it's nice, there's a narrative, there's people with you. And by the way, you've picked the winning horse. You've found the first cycle unicorn, which you don't get 6x in these other junk. You're lucky to get 2x. So, okay, pDAI, you know it. Let's say, yeah, pegging nipples, we get it. Yeah, but compare 6 to 200. Whoa. Another way to put it is, if you buy in that gravestone emoji, you only need 1/30th. So only 3% of what someone who's going to buy on the super trend needs. That's wild. So let's say someone's clip is $10,000, right? You only need $300. Yeah, lottery ticket. Literally a lottery ticket. You go, oh, everyone says it's dead. Maybe it's not. You get it? Okay, what if you put more than that, though? You see the power of this? But I'm cherry picking here for you because we're looking at the winner. You know, we're looking at something with a unique story and everything out here. But this is just, it's something to keep in your mind, friends, for the rest of time, especially in markets. PulseChain prices are still poopy. 7.27% is the PulseX buy and burn. I like looking at that number, Mr. PulseCoin list. I would like you to add the PulseX buy and burn here. I see the burn number here. I'd like to put the buy and burn. I want to see that number that I can toggle. Put it actually down here. I want to see it ticking up. And make it like these little like orange flame colors. 7.26%. It's chewing it up. I saw some reports that people are dumping some core coins to buy pDAI and portfolio rotations, but something interesting as well, friends. Like, I don't give a shit about this other stuff, okay? All this other stuff is boring. PulseChain's amazing. It's got first cycle unicorn stuff. No one's ever seen these P tokens. pDAI is an unstable coin. It's not a real stable coin. What does it do? I mean, like, we call it a new word, a ping pong coin, a range coin. There's no narrative. I'm like, oh my God, there's no sector. This is everything you want, bro. This is the spirit of crypto, is to get into stuff that nobody knows how to freaking analyze. This is the pDAI to pulse ratio. Look at that underlying strength. Now, friends, there was a baby doll. Look, friends, by the way, you can't argue with this, bro. Like, you cannot argue with that. Look at that. It's come back from 0. So there was a baby doll in the comment section as well. He said, Somi, and I replied to him. He said, how come every 15 seconds you say pDAI can go to 0, right? And you're like very warning about it, and you highlight its risks so much, but on the other hand, you like it, and then you talk about it with like glittery eyes. And I'll give you my answer, and I actually replied to him. This is the answer I told you. I go, firstly, it can go to 0. Again, it went to 0 2 times. It can go to 0 a 3rd time and stay there. It can do that. Get over it. Get over it. It's risks. Bitcoin can go to 0. Ethereum can go to 0. I mean, hell, Ethereum may as well has been 0. It's down after 8 years on ETH-BTC. It's down 88%. These things can go to 0, man. They don't have to go up. That's it. Accept it. That's life. It's risk and reward, okay? Number 1. Number 2, if you're sitting at a poker table and you have pocket aces, you've drawn pocket aces, yeah? Imagine you could freeze time and you're talking to a camera. You go, hey, I've got pocket aces. Are you going to tell the audience, guess what? I'm definitely going to win every hand I ever get with pocket aces? No, that's false. You say, hey, I've got pocket aces. I like pocket aces. I'm having a good time, but I can still lose. I can still get crushed. Someone can crush me. Do you know who had pocket aces and lost? BitBoy. Okay? When BitBoy went and played on poker. And luckily for you, I mean, friends, highest value content in crypto. Like and subscribe. I have found it for you. Look at this. December 31st, 2021. This is BitBoy. He has the Richard Hart Louis Vuitton tracksuit. He's got pocket aces. And on this hand, he went all in and he lost. Okay? So just, you know, it's a very fitting, nice tale to say that. So that's why I know a lot of people, I know you're like, what, but it can miss, Yeah, but friends, when you watch Lionel Messi, sometimes the ball comes to his feet. He doesn't even turn his head, okay? He uses his foot and he sweeps the ball and he just heel taps it back or sideways on like some weird angle. And he's not even looking, okay? Imagine you could freeze moment in time. You go, but Lionel, lying an L. What if the player wasn't there? What if you missed? What if you tripped? What if it went the other way? What if the other player got it and scored? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Yeah, what if? But it didn't. What if? It's risk and reward. Also, you do this 1,000 times, you kind of get a feel for stuff, but you still have to have an appreciation for the risk, okay, friends? That's what we're doing here. Now, speaking of doing, here is the Bitcoin dominance, which is doing us very, very naughty things. It keeps continuing to go up. So, Bitcoin dominance, friends, I don't know where it's going to stop. I thought it would have stopped a long time ago, waiting for the business cycle to continue. But that's a reflection of everything to ahead of us. So we've got pretty much the economy super strong. Okay, even though everyone says, "Oh, the economy is fake," the economy is fake. Shut up, okay, bro. I listen to the stock market. Okay, I don't listen to Joe Blow on the street who's saying the economy is weak. Dude, the economy's fine, man. The economy's fine. You seen this, bro? This is a stock market. If the economy was bad, trust me, this thing is not letting you sell it for freaking this much longer. Okay, here's the S&P 500. The Nasdaq actually printed new highs. Okay, but here's the thing, right? The economy is strong. But what about that business cycle flywheel? That's what we're waiting for. That's not here yet. It's overdue, but it's not here yet. Here's the PMI. All right, PMI 31 months. Okay, we're talking about it a lot because it's relevant. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, no, you can suck a fat one. Here's a bunch of potatoes here. This is the US dollar, DXY. Friends, like every data point I look at, I don't want to talk like this, okay? But it's saying we're going to be rich. Every data point. Yeah, it's just waiting and wait. I know the wait kills. I know. I feel the same thing too. But I'm just sitting here. I'm like, dude, am I going to be telling one of those stories on one of those, like, dark room, zoom up documentaries they make on me later on when I'm like, man, we thought it was all over for like every minute of the day for a long time. But all the like traffic lights were telling me we're about to get rich, but just we couldn't see it. We couldn't feel it. And then you learn about the human psychology where no matter how good something's going to be in the future, you and I, because we can't actually know the future, one of the limitations of being human and non-anarchy, right? We can't front run our dopamine in the future. We can't. All we can do is basically like wallow in our pain. And that's one of the limitations of humanity, but also kind of makes things exciting, right? They say speculation is the spice of life. So that's the type of stuff we've been battling. That's why they say really with the markets, it's a battle with yourself. That's really what they mean. But it's like, it means even if you have the winning strategy, if you're on the right path, even if you're destined to make it, okay, you still can't front run your future dopamine. You can't get it, okay? You have to just sit. You're bound by time. We're in this dimension. And so is everybody else. And everybody else, right? They're not acting on that. They're acting on fear and FOMO and all this other stuff. Okay, so only the people who are solid enough with solid nuts or ovaries, they're going to make it at the end. SharpLink stock, friends. Remember, SharpLink is the MicroStrategy for Ethereum. Yes. Their stock jumped 7%, so they bought another $30 million of ETH. Ethereum. So now they hold 188,000 Ethereum. Worth $457 million, might be worth $4.50 soon. If you go to the SIR, which is the Strategic ETH Reserve.xyz, there is a ranking here made by a baby doll out there, and he kindly added the PulseChain nutsack, which is 166,000 Ethereum. Now, I want to tell you something which is very interesting, just to show you how irrational markets can get, friends. 166,000 Ethereum is worth today exactly, it's worth about 400 million. Okay, a bit more than 400 million. The PulseChain market cap was just under 400 million. So a chain's treasury is literally more than its market cap. Now, this is just obviously a sad state of affairs. Yeah, we know it's undervalued. You know where I'm going with this. Yes, it's super cheap. Markets can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. Yeah, we know all these, but it's just sad that we got to this state. You know what I mean? But this is not new in crypto, by the way. In the bear market, we're still in a bear market, right? Past 3 years, there are a lot of altcoins in this same scenario. They have a treasury, they have a funding, they have all this and that, and then their account is worth more than the market cap. Okay. Now you might be wondering, like let's say you're a stock market dude. Okay, maybe you like putting butter on your toast, you like folding your clothes, you got a pot plant in your lounge room that you water, you talk to it as well. You're a very like nice, well-rounded person. You have stocks and bonds. You got a 60-40 portfolio. Okay. They're probably sitting there. They're like, oh, when you're used to seeing markets, you see things get priced in very fast. Okay, like if the Coca-Cola CEO says, guess what, we're going to be putting real Coke into our Coca-Cola now, and the stock price jumps immediately. People react to that straight away, right? But in crypto, there's less eyeballs. And everything's correlation linked, so it's all just about liquidity all the time because we're constantly in a state of doom when there's the business cycles going down. So what that means is even if a treasury guarantees that something's worth $1, people will sell it for 30 cents. They will. Just because they feel bad or they're chasing something else because they think something else is going to move in the next month and this thing isn't going to move. So they'll happily they're not thinking about the fair value of this. They're just selling stuff because they can. Okay. You don't have that stuff in the stock market often. That's like a super rare event. Your stock market has DCA Ponzi money and also it's really efficient. It's got trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in there. You don't have retail in there. Retail is only about like 5 to 10% of volume in stocks. Yeah, literally around that. But in crypto, I mean, like it's literally inverse. Like we're all retailers pretty much, you know? That's the ultimate difference. So Tether friends, which is CBDC Lite, a Trojan horse in cryptocurrency, they have become Juventus's second largest holder. This to me seems like an exuberant, irrational, holier than thou, I'm now cocky on top of the world type of vibe. Because Juventus is what, the soccer club. Why is Tether buying a soccer club? It feels like that the owners, I think the owner Powell, I think they are Italiano. Okay. Don't steal that guy's pepperoni on his pizza. So they probably like had these dreams. Oh, I want to own a soccer club. I'm going to be a billionaire, you know? So it's kind of like it's very in tune with where we are in the crypto cycle. Tether has like sky high valuations. Like, oh, let's go buy a soccer club. This is just, you know, it's the equivalent of, you know, when you see like someone go out, sadly, they'll like buy a watch and they'll take a picture of it and they put it like on the internet now, like, haha, look at me, I'm so cool. You know that dude? Okay, well, that dude's actually a pleb. Okay, that dude's mostly a loser doing that. Okay, on top of that dude is someone who goes and buys like a Bugatti. You know what I mean? Like a Andrew Tate. You know, so they one up all these kids trying to do this stuff. Okay, but then Andrew Tate, he gets one upped by stuff like this, where they're like, oh, a little car, I see. I'm gonna go buy a freaking football club stadium. Okay, you see what I mean? Like it's always like someone playing a big game. That's what it is. And this comes later towards the cycle. Surprise, surprise. Bitcoin's over 100K. We are towards the end of the cycle. Depends what we say, towards the end. I guess time-wise, maybe towards the end, you know? If it's like, think about, if it's a 4 or 5 year cycle, been gone for 4 years, you go parabolic at the end anyway, right? Price-wise, we've got a while to go for everything else but Bitcoin, actually. That's what it feels like. So all of this yield trend. So how did Tether buy this? Well, if you're holding Tether, you're a cuckold, okay? You're sitting in the hotel cuck chair. Like I said, man, you're guy number 950 in the Bonnie Blue line. And you earn 0 yield on your Tether. So they keep the yield for themselves and they go buy soccer stadiums and soccer teams and Bitcoin. They go buy it for themselves. They give you nothing, okay? And by the way, I mean, like I revealed to you yesterday, I had to make 2 videos on it, okay? The average crypto portfolio investor, I got the reveal, okay? Remember I showed you it? 33% allocation of stablecoins. So 33% of your portfolio is in the thing you don't own in a bull market, number one, and you're earning no yield. Like, it makes sense though. That's why most people lose. Like I always knew when I see this stuff, I'm like, wow, it's real. Most people really are cucks. They really have learned nothing. Barclays Bank has banned customers from using their credit card for cryptocurrency transactions. Now, when you first see this, you probably get a bit of a, negative reaction to them.
I wanna be the very best that no one ever was.
But then you think about it for 5 seconds and you're like, you know what? I don't blame him. I think the CEO or something came out and said, look, man, we don't want people taking out a credit card loan. And he actually said this. He goes, and people have been buying crypto and then the crypto goes to 0. Now they just owe us money. And I thought about it and I'm like, oh my gosh, wait. I have been making weekly videos on Coinfessions Wrecked for 1.5 years where the story always starts with, and then I got a credit card and I blew that. Then I got another one and I blew that too. Now I've got nothing. And I'm like, bro, where are you guys losing all your money? I realized, oh, they're all on Pump Fund. They're all on the Pump Fund memes, the JPEGs, right? They're sucking the toes of the LA Vape Cabal. Hope you learned your lesson though. Anthony Pompliano's ProCap buys 1,200 BTC more. So, friends, here's the thing. The reality about the situation with Bitcoin is that most Bitcoin maxis, they are hiding behind the Bitcoin logo. Okay? Friends, look, I've just told you something, okay? I've been around. Let's just say I've been around, okay? I know some stuff. Yeah, I know some stuff. Friends, let's just say I played Lego with a few people. You know what I mean? I know how to connect some Lego. I know how to water plants too. Okay, multi-talented. Okay, I put napkins on my lap because I'm a messy eater. You know what I mean? I've been around. These people are full of shit. Okay, they're full of shit. Yeah, they are. They're shiny. They're polished. Okay, you haven't seen them at a rave with their shirts off. Sweaty forehead, eyes poking out of their head. That's what they do. But on camera, they like put a real clean face. Now, in our context of crypto, what's the clean face? The clean face is Bitcoin is the way, the truth, the light. You don't need anything else. And for years, I'm saying, I don't believe this. And now it's all showing. So what are they actually doing? Bitcoin maxis have found a way. I've got to use the G word to grift. I have to use it. To grift the Bitcoin community. So now they're selling you stocks, which are altcoins, but they say, don't worry, the Treasury is going to buy Bitcoin. So you're actually owning Bitcoin. Nope. Stocks are poop. If stocks were good, Satoshi would have made Bitcoin a stock on the New York Stock Exchange. We know stocks are poop. New people don't want stocks. But because there's a Bitcoin logo attached, it's funny, these are the same people who accuse Richard Fart of affinity scamming, where he puts, you're calling Hex like Bitcoin. That's what they call the affinity scamming, right? It's funny. They accuse him of that. And dude, you guys are rorting billions and billions and billions of people. It's not even in the same stratosphere with what they're doing now. But they get a pass. Why? Because Bitcoin's price has gone up. That's why. They're like, the price went up. Okay. So it's another way of saying everybody else enjoys buying high with them. Okay, so that's what pretty much is happening. They're doing all these like raises for these companies, and yeah, it's literally tick for tick, friends. They are supplying shit coins, real shit coins. You know, at least with an altcoin, you know that Metcalfe's law. You know you got a Doge around. You know you got something to inspire you. With stocks, what's your meme of stocks, bro? You need cash flow. None of these companies can outperform Bitcoin. Why are you going to be able to outperform Bitcoin? So, but they know this, friend. They ultimately know this, but they're here to get the money. Okay, they're here to get the money. Now, of course, it begs the question, why would you need money if you bought Bitcoin at $3,000 and now it's 100? Well, greed, my friends, greed. Why does that person who's made 150 million, why do we naturally say, I am only 0.15 billion net worth? Why do we say that? It's just a higher game. They enter the higher game. They rub shoulders and other body parts with people that give them, these ideas like, oh yeah, you want to take it to the big leagues? You got to do this. You got to do this offering. And then they G each other up. They want to do that. That's just their goal, right? So everyone has their own goals, okay? But for you and me, I don't give a shit about that, okay? Everyone's fake. The most exciting thing is probably happening in the bathroom. Do you really want to be walking around with all those cocksuckers at Michael Saylor's Bitcoin New Year's Eve party thing? Did you see who was there, friends? Okay. Do you remember Hayden Davis, the dude who did the Libra scam? Yeah, well, his sister's a hooker. Remember? And she was walking around at the party. And by the way, when I heard how much she charged, I literally almost coughed up my orange juice because I couldn't believe it. I go, dude, you're about a 4 about a 4. You know what I mean? Between a 4 and a 6. You're charging how much? And then you find out why she was actually escorting. She's just escorting to get political power broking with higher up people in society. That's big. That's a Bitcoin Maxi mansion meeting, bro. That's not Bitcoin, dude. You know what Bitcoin is? Bitcoin is Andreas Antonopoulos. Okay, he's a Norwood 0 pretty much. Like, I forgot how it works. He's like a Norwood 6 at this point. Okay, walking around, living out of a suitcase, There's 3 people in his audience. Okay, one of them's got the ponytail guy, the ponytail acne face. There's always one of those dudes at Dungeons and Dragons, right? They're too scared to even talk about it because of the power. And it's text and it's Merc. That's Bitcoin, but that's being early. Okay, you know, doing drugs with Michael Saylor in the bathroom. That's not early, bro. And now Larry Fink's in. Okay, so being early or not. Who really cares, right? You want the price differential. That's what you care about. The thing, though, is, friends, once it turns, okay, you don't have time to, like, think about, oh, let me go rewind price. Let me go rewind time. Let me go back in the charts. Let me go change everything. It doesn't happen like that, man. By the way, look how fast Ethereum dropped. Did you have time to think about, oh, yeah, it's time to get off the ship? You see what I mean? Just like things can happen like that, they happen the other way. It's just a matter of time. Trump has called Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell a very stupid person. So very eloquent, I might say. So here's Trump, right? Here he is calling Jay Powell. And of course, Jay Powell has been having a lot of political pressure when it comes to the interest rates and what the economy is going to do. Guess what? I'm just looking at it now. This is the interest rate differential, rate expectations. Look. Rates are going down. So they're starting to go and price in more cuts now. Okay. And yeah, obviously there's hypocrisy because Jerome Powell, back in 2022, he wasn't thinking about the future. You know, back then he was like, oh, no. Sorry, actually, I think he basically he's done some hypocrisy when it comes to the interest rates. Back then, it was like, oh no, the inflation's gonna go high in the future, so let me guess. So I'm definitely gonna hike rates now. And now he's like, no, we're gonna wait and see. So his actual commentary refers to the tariffs. He says, oh, we've had a lot of analysts tell us that the tariffs are gonna make the inflation rate go higher. No one's buying it though. President Trump says he has begun interviewing candidates to replace Fed Chair Jerome Powell with 3 to 4 names under consideration. Now, you've been watching my show. I know you have. It could be that, and let me show you the total crypto market cap chart. It's very possible that we price in the next US Fed once we know who it is. There'll probably be a dove. Remember, friends, so there's doves and there's hawks. A hawk is like, remember, hawks attack down in the sky, okay? Hawks, caw, caw, you know, just attacking down with your feet. Think of like a big talon out here. That's like interest rates, like slowing down the economy, being aggressive, okay? And then a dove is like, fly, my pretties, fly, my pretties. That's what a dove is, okay? Dove means like low interest rates. You're more stimulatory in a very family-friendly way, okay? And then hawkish is like, oh, raising rates, and I don't want you to go up inflation too much. So obviously, Jerome Powell is considered a massive hawk now. Massive, okay? That's what he's considered. So if a new US Fed comes in, and remember, he's going to step in March 2026. That's when basically it happens. So it could be possible we spend like, you know, the last 3 months of the cycle, we actually price in the next Fed, you know? Because like, remember, we're always looking for this trap that forms, because maybe when he finally comes, right, everyone's going to be like, oh, we just got a new US Fed and he's going to cut rates and everything's going to be good. You know, and I'll have to be writing everyone. Guess what, bro? We all know that the US Fed was going to get changed. It's priced in. That's why we've been pumping for the past 6 months, you know? So that's what it's going to be like. Yeah, no one's going to believe it, but, you know, we'll see. Fed Chair Jerome Powell, major loser, says the crypto stablecoin industry has matured and become more mainstream. So, do I even have to say at this point? Sun is killing my buzz. That's why they call it morning. StableCoin SuperCycle confirms every single day, right? This is my favorite choice. There are many others you can participate and play in. Many others, okay? Friends, this is how self-aware am I? Like the highest value content crypto, I literally tell you all the alternatives, okay? I'm not saying, oh, look at this coin. I just like the logo, okay? Friends, literally, you go to a restaurant, there's 20 different things to eat. I want to eat the steak, okay? Medium rare. But there's anything else you can eat. You can eat the rigatoni. You can have the bruschetta. You can have pizza, pizzaroonies. There's many things to choose from. You're at the menu. You're at the restaurant sitting down, right? So There's Athena, ENA. You could buy Link. You could buy XRP. You could buy Tron. This is for StableCoin SuperCycle, right? You could buy CRCL, Circle shares. You could buy Coinbase stock because they own half of Circle. You could participate in that Plasma, which is a Tether-backed stablecoin chain. I've already given you 7 things out here, right? There's more others, I guess, around there, but not too many. But these are ways to participate in that stablecoin SuperCycle. And of course, my favorite is pDAI, right? Because it's part of the stablecoin SuperCycle, but no one knows it is. Okay, no one knows it is, and it's unstable, and it has asymmetric upside. And by all of them, so even if you don't even like want to believe, or I don't give a shit. Okay, don't believe it. Another principle I look at is eyeballs. Okay, look at the ratio of people who know about pDAI versus could know about it. And then compare that to everything else. Everybody in the world knows Circle stock. Everyone knows USDC. Everybody knows who Tether is. Everybody knows. See, Arthur Gaze is shilling Athena and ENA like 24/7, right? These people have 1 million follower plus. Yeah. Tron as well. Everyone's heard of Tron. Tron's been around 3 cycles. Yeah. ChainLink. Everyone knows about ChainLink, right? XRP. Everyone knows about Cripple. You get it? Like everyone's heard about them, you know? But then this just stands out. It stands out like a sore thumb. It's like, whoa, this thing is a cult within a cult on a chain that no one even knows how to bridge into because you got to get in through Ethereum, not even supported by DBridge or anything else yet, not even Tier 1 listed exchanges for the main native token. Just like thousands of things are just saying, oh my gosh, there's value. Well, I could go to 0 again. Nvidia has reached an all-time high, friends. So this is big news. Nvidia, remember, 3.75 trillion market cap. Nvidia, okay, I call it Nvidia. It's an Nvidia to me, okay? It's worth more than the entire crypto industry, okay? So this is it. Look at this chart, man. What? This is... Why can't our crypto charts do this, bro? Why can't we do 40% down and then we just go back up and we never come back and eat the wick? Why can't we just do this? Why do you got to be scam crypto? Congratulations, Nvidia fans. This is just this AI is the future. AI is amazing. It is. And remember, Nvidia is the hardware for it. So like obviously the hardware is not going to be in a bubble. The bubble part of AI, it's going to come, and we'll know when it's starting to get silly, right? Right now, it's not. Rocca Negra CEO Larry Fink predicts that Bitcoin could rise to $500,000 to $700,000. What a wonderful target. Maybe when Bitcoin is like at 200K or something, he's going to say those numbers again, and I'll be like, oh, golly gee, that's exactly 3 times higher than what it is now. And you all know that is a extreme warning spot of euphoria. Okay. Also, friends, the U.S. Federal Housing Financial Agency has issued an order to count Bitcoin as, and crypto for your mortgages. Remember yesterday, I saw that they released a comment. They go, oh, we're studying to see the impact of crypto on your spending. I literally watched my video. I literally said a second later, I said, they're about to allow and study if you can put your crypto to be used for collateral. So that's what it's all building towards, you know. That's what they do, friends, these government agencies. They do one step at a time. In case there's huge international backlash, then they stop it. Okay, so just go one step at a time. Now, what I want to show you is these cracker charts here. Got some BCB charts. So where are we going from here? I'm going to show you where we're going from here. All right. So Bitcoin has just completed the C leg. Remember? That's where we are now. This fractal is what is a similar Bitcoin pattern from before. Okay. From what it's done. Now, remember these charts, if you're familiar, the second, third, and fourth chart is Bitcoin in its history. 3 examples of it doing, you can see an ABC leg and then up only, ABC leg and then up only, and then ABC leg and then up only. I want to also draw your attention to this. This part is a skitsy zone, and we don't know how long it could take. Okay, they come in different forms. It looks up only because you just get to summarize all of it, but not completely. Okay, there's some sort of skitsy, what's going on here, going sideways. So we are right here, friends. We have just completed the C leg. Now we're in that skitsy skits. Don't know how long it'll last before we continue up. And then we go, oh, celebrate. Yes, let's play some Pumpy G music as well. While we can. Coinbase stock has actually been leading this rally. Check it out. Coinbase is back up towards the all-time high. That's wild, $344. That's big. That's big. Now, the next part is where it's going to get a bit spicy. because the next part, BCB says it's all over. All right, now I don't know anything. Okay, I'm gonna tell you. I hope it's not over in 2 months. A lot of people think it's over. And just to show you, every time we did this ABC thing, there was the final rush up, and then it's literally all over. Okay, so that's why I was expecting we push up. Here's Bitcoin 118 or something, and then it does like the final 120 to 130K zone, and then he believes like this part happens where we get. We'll see. Okay, we'll see what happens there. What's going to happen with Bitcoin dominance and everything else? Well, look, it's a matter of time, I guess. But I'm going to show you now my Bitcoin price chart here. Okay, actually, let's look on a daily. I think it's easier to see on this daily chart, this daily channel. Okay, so I don't know why I just drew this. There's this line you can kind of draw for BTC. Okay, so if Bitcoin went up 132, I hope, friends, when we come back down, right, I hope we hold this line, okay? And then it's a believer's cycle. I hope we get that. Okay, if we don't get that and it's over, well, we tried. Okay, so if your portfolio is up, so here's the thing, man, it's only 60 days, you know? Like, remember what we know from the past. It takes, altcoins have got to run up for 50, then they do euphoria in the next 50. We haven't even started going up. Others BTC still red. But, you know, is this time different? It could be. But if you mark 100 days from today, friends, 3 months, that's like October, right? That's us going up early. So, and that'd be alt season wave 1, okay? So, if you find yourself on side in coins in the next 2 to 3 months, remember your G stack, take profit on something, just in case that skid zone happens, man. Because, friends, look, it's easy for me to tell you I'm not selling or I'm still in. It's easy for me to tell you that. But firstly, you can't rely on me because I don't know. Okay, number 1. And number 2, I can change my mind. And most importantly, number 3, this is the most important, okay? When you watch me, friends, that's 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of the day. There's other days, there's other hours of the day. You've got to shower, you've got to scrub your belly, you've got to sit in your chair and, you know, eat your little rigatoni pasta. And then you got to talk to family. And then you'll come across like an Ivan video or a crypto banter video and someone else saying, well, congratulations. It's been 4.7 years of the cycle now. It's all over. Goodbye. You had your chance. Everything went up. And when they say everything, they'll cherry pick. They go, oh, Sui, even though 19 other layer 1 coins haven't moved, went up. And they go, oh, you know, dog with hat went up, even though 48,000 other coins like didn't move. You know what I mean? They like to cherry pick this stuff. They all went up, and they walk away. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. But you know what I say? It's a believer's cycle. Like, subscribe, belly button, or catch you in the next one.